Pizza time.
Sup, bros? Welcome to a kitchen. Today we're going to be taking your ordinary, average, everyday, regular teen pizza and making them in 3 levels of fun. My goal here is to achieve a meal worthy of our precious puppers. For level 1, I'm going to be taking a frozen pizza and giving it a little TLC. This is probably the kind of pizza that I eat most often at home. It's just really convenient. And with that loving touch, it's actually something worth eating. I've chosen a 3-meat pizza, which is great because the meat would be the hardest thing to add after the fact. But for me, that's not quite enough protein, so I'm going to throw in a few more slices of my favorite pepperoni. This still needs some vegetal notes and color, so I'll be adding some julienned bell peppers and onions. Make sure that the onions get really thin so they spread better and cook more completely. Nobody wants to be the guy that gets a huge mouthful of raw onion. It gets baked according to the directions on the box, and to remove from the oven, I use my secret weapon, the box. The cardboard box it came in is surprisingly the perfect size and keeps the crust from getting soggy while cooling. To top everything off, I'm grating on some Pecorino cheese.
Ty, everyone's gonna laugh at you for doing that. Messing up grating. Everyone's gonna go, haha, Ty's so stupid, can't even grate cheese.
This is one of those situations you could use Parmesan or whatever the heck cheese you have in the fridge at the moment. Even cheddar would be better than nothing.
Oh, this is good.
Yeah?
Really good.
It's not my favorite, but it's good. I like the meat on it and the cheese.
That was great. I love how it has pepperoni on it and sausages. It's really good.
Ty, I'm like 100 feet.
No, you're like 1,000 miles.
I'll look just about Ty height when he's bending down a little.
Alright, I got Alright, ready?
Yeah.
I'll go for the middle piece.
Oh, I like it. Yeah, it's just pizza. I don't know. New York fold. What? Whoa.
That's good.
Now, level 2, I'm going to be making the dough from scratch, because no matter how nice of a frozen pizza you buy, that's the one thing that can't be fixed after it's been par-baked and frozen for convenient resale at your local grocer. Before making the dough, I always like to bloom my yeast in warm water with a touch of sugar to make sure it's alive and well before starting. I hated to find out too late that my yeast was dead. Once I see that it's foaming up a little, I know the yeast is good, and I'm adding flour, salt, and olive oil. This should come together in a pretty shaggy dough. Pizza dough you generally want pretty hydrated. After kneading a little, I'm going to let it set aside for about an hour to double in size before lightly kneading again to bring the yeast back into contact with all of its food, and setting aside it again for another hour. Some people like to separate into distinct dough balls at this point to make it easier to roll out later, but I'm apparently not that organized. Once it is again doubled in size, it should be developing some decent flavor as well. I separate it into the 2 balls and roll it out, stretching with my knuckles as it gets big enough to do so.
Bees can't have pollen because they're not plants. Obviously not bee pollen, it's plant pollen.
I'll be placing this dough straight into a sheet pan heavily dusted with cornmeal, or at least I should have. We'll deal with that later.
You need cornmeal, okay? If you don't have cornmeal, it's not gonna slide. So here's the cornmeal. It's like,
That's okay.
see how my fingers are sliding?
This bad boy is ready for saucing. I'm just using sauce out of the can because it's yummy. Put on your favorite amount, followed by your favorite amount of mozzarella cheese. The best mozzarella for this is a low moisture, whole milk, freshly shredded mozzarella. But if you have something against low moisture, whole milk, or hand shredding, you can forgo any of these parts. Just let me warn you that the pre-shredded stuff is coated in some kind of powder, usually cellulose, which is just a fancy word for sawdust, that keeps it from sticking together in the bag. That same anti-stickitude will remain as it cooks and will leave your cheese looking lumpy. Tasty, but lumpy. Whatever way you shred it, I've never been a fan of plain cheese pizza, so we're going to have to bump it up a notch with our toppings. Since I have a variety of taste testers here today, I'm going to be making 2 different types of pizza. One may cause a bit of controversy, but it's a family favorite over here, so I must oblige. The first is getting freshly chopped pineapple, freshly chopped because it's so much better than the canned stuff. Normally I would pair this with a ham or quote-unquote Canadian bacon, but like I said, this is a family favorite, It's pineapple pepperoni. All I can say is, don't knock it till you try it, bro. The second one is getting some supreme treatment minus the mushrooms, peppers, onions, and pepperoni. Yum. Yum. Yummy. Now to bake, I want to do a little experiment with you guys. I baked these in 2 different ways, one on a pizza stone and one on a sheet tray. The trick for either method is to turn the heat up as high as the oven will go. In this case, it was 550 degrees, and let it stay there for a while, at least half an hour, so the walls and everything in the oven get as hot as it can. Leaving our thick, porous ceramic disc in the oven that whole time will allow it to absorb as much heat as possible before transferring our cold, sticky pizza to it.
Perfect.
This is the point where I wish I had kept our pie on a cornmeal dusted sheet pan for easy transfer. I had a heck of a time using my cute little spatula to get this wretched mess onto the scorchingly hot pizza stone.
But we know for the next pizza,
Todd, this is like level 1 3/4 pizza right now.
But we got it. We'll find out if the pizza stone ordeal was worth it once we have both baked. The second one is just going into the oven on the very cornmeal dusted sheet pan that it was assembled on, making for a much easier oven transfer. The proof is in the pudding. Get it? Because proofing a dough means allowing it to rise? You'll see here that the dough on the pizza stone got significantly crispier and aerated than its pan-baked counterpart. The pizza stone is able to immediately start transferring high amounts of dry heat to the dough, and at the same time its porous nature allows the dough to breathe just a little bit, leaving no room for sogginess. The sheet pan, on the other hand, has to heat up with the pizza, and the dough stays a little soggier since it can't breathe as well.
This crust is good. I like it.
It's fluffy.
is it cooked all the way?
And then you zoom in and see that.
Air in the dough.
It's got some air in the dough.
I like the end of the dough.
I'm gonna try the other one now. This one I can already tell is a lot flatter and the dough is, it's still got the bubbles in it. It's still got some air, but it's a lot flatter. This is a lot floppier. That one's a lot more firm and this is softer. But I always love a pineapple pepperoni. In our family, that's what we like. But yeah, they're both good, but I definitely like the crust of this one more. Like this one feels more like a professional crust, like something you'd get from a good pizza place than this one does.
So this is more of a flat crust. Good pizza. I like the cheese a lot.
Yeah, cheese.
It's got a good flow. Nice and good catch. Oh, I like it. It's a good thin crust pizza.
New York fold. Oh yeah.
What's happening here with your hand? Is that
Like ratatouille.
okay?
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
It's like
I'm just feeling out the flavor.
the crust. Yeah, it's a lot more airy. Yeah, it's sweet. It's cheesy. It's airy. It's fluffy. It's good.
Which pizza came off of the pizza stone and which pizza came off of the pan? 1, 2, 3. Pizza stone. Nice.
But I was really contemplating why that would make a difference, and I have no idea.
But it is a lot better, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because it's the same dough.
Exact same dough.
Except that it's
Yeah. If you have a pizza stone, definitely use it.
Level 3 is getting upgraded in a few ways from level 2. Instead of using commercial yeast, I'll be using a sourdough start. This one is a little over a month old and has had some time to develop a little bit more complex flavor. The method is pretty much the same as the previous dough, but instead of the yeast, we're adding the sourdough start. This one took a bit longer to rise than the yeasted one, but that's the sacrifice that we take in the interest of yummy munch. But that's not the best part of the dough. The secret ingredient here is the bowl. This bread bowl has been in service for over 100 years. It's clean, so it doesn't really have any physical compounds that it's adding, but it is adding the heart and soul of generations of bread makers, giving our dough that je ne sais quoi that you can't fake. But there is one part that we can fake, and that's the garlic bread seasoning that we're just mixing straight into this dough. This pizza is going to be getting a homemade sauce. Simple, yet elegant. I blended together whole canned drained tomatoes with canned anchovies, garlic, olive oil, and salt and pepper. That's it. No aromatics, no cooking, easy as pie. Pizza pie. Before applying our sauce to our dough canvases, I'll be painting a thin layer of olive oil onto the top surface. This will help seal the dough away from the watery sauce, keeping it extra crispy. Our cheese is getting leveled up as well. This cheese is a fresh mozzarella made from the milk of the Italian water buffalo. I know what you're thinking.
That's a big egg.
But yes, it is delicious and absolutely worth it. I'm scattering these cheese, if you please, across the surface of our tasty, tasty pie and adding some healthy slices of soppressata, which is a kind of dry Italian salami. It is expensive, but it's so much better than pepperoni. These will be accompanied by wedges from a fresh fennel bulb, which, if you're not familiar with fennel, it smells kind of in between licorice and an onion.
Oh, this has layers.
Yeah, I know.
You don't know what else has layers? Onions.
But trust me, it'll be delicious. But this pizza's no good to us cold. We gotta fire this thing up.
All right, it's fire time. We need to go collect some fuel. For a fire, you need 3 things: heat, fuel, and oxygen. So oxygen, it's all around us. We've got plenty of that. We need some heat. I'll show you that later. But right now, we need to go find some fuel. Let's try and keep up.
Hey, Colin. Speaking of heat, have you heard my new mixtape?
I haven't.
Oh.
What a baby. You're like a little baby back there. We made him cry. Good
It
one.
happens.
Hey, Coco. Are you going to help Uncle Colin?
Might have an.
Oh no.
I can.
The bad news bears have arrived. Okay.
I helped.
Now, there's a little bit of fuel, but we're gonna need a hot fire. We need a lot of fuel. Let's get some more.
Hi, Coco. I don't have shoes on, Coco. Bit chungus
Grab that guy.
myself.
Thank you. This should be good for now. You need some good tender. We've got some newspaper. It's got some good flavors. Beans, foods from the Island Grill. That'll give it a good kick. Kind of start a little natural flavor. You know, the mint and
No aluminum.
no aluminum. Fire needs a place to live, just like you and me. They like shelter. Their favorites, you know, are log cabins and teepees, okay? We're gonna build a log cabin for this guy. He'll call it home. So we've got fuel, right? Lots of fuel. Plenty of oxygen floating around. There's your heat. And that is fire. Now we can pack this pretty dense because we're about to use a secret weapon.
Lighter fluid.
Leaf blower. These things. This is a Wi-Fi router.
No, it's my,
Microphone pickup. Ow.
Yeah.
Oh.
But you gotta do what you gotta do for some water.
You gotta hydrate up. It's hot out there.
There really is no replacement for a wood-fired oven. The high heat, brick, and smoke are really hard to replicate. Combined with our sourdough start, this is going to create our tastiest crust yet. I went ahead and made a level 2.5 pizza to go along with the level 3 since I had some extra dough. Let's see how they like it.
No, you want to share one? What's that?
Wanna go get it? Yes, you do.
Oh,
No, you don't, Ryan.
Is that really good?
it's good.
That's good. I like this one better.
Oh, really?
Who's up next?
That's not a baby.
Oh, you guys. The pesto makes it even better, Ty. Oh, no pesto. This is good. I'm gonna eat more pesto. Colin, you gotta come. Luke, come. Pesto on that one would be really good too. Oh man.
Yummy.
It's like level 2, but way better. I don't know how to. It's just so good.
I know it's good food, but I mean, you just don't want to talk, you just want to eat. I do really like the basil pesto.
What do you think?
That's great.
Very good.
You can immediately tell it's wood-fired.
Wood-fired pizza. How's pizza gonna get a job now?
And the sourdough crust is really tasty.
Yeah.
Holy cow. That's official. It's the best pizza I've ever had in my life.
Well, you heard it here first, folks. Best pizza from the guy who made it.
It's not amazing. All right, you ready to eat it, Coconut? All done.
All done.